I'm appalled.
You're appalled. I'm appalled.
I just can't believe it. I'm appalled.
Welcome back to another episode of the Podcast. Hey, Trayce Jackson Jr., Trayce Jackson Davis, son of Dale Davis of the Indiana Pacers, man. You know, if you know, you know. Anyway, man, this fine right here. You know what? Shout out to Swish Culture. Swish Culture, he called this out some months ago. He did a whole video on Trayce. And but this was a good pickup by the Warriors. Anyway, man, let's talk about the sequence of scenarios and events that have led up to this guy getting this playtime. Excuse me. Warriors have won the last 5. Some bottom feeder teams, man, but it was it was needed, because we kind of found some rhythm. We kind of seen what worked and what didn't work. One of the key elements to all of that I'm seeing with the Warriors is that the young guys have been implemented. They've been inserted into the offense, and that's been key because really it's been just Steph Curry doing Steph Curry things what he always does, but that ain't gonna cut it. You gotta have some more talent, And it was always a question that it's not that they didn't have talent, it's that Kerr really lacked confidence in these younger players. And I've made videos about Steve Kerr, and I've kind of commented more, so not a whole direct video, but with how he dealt with the whole Wiseman situation and how he deals with youngers in general. I've made my statements on that, but you know what? It's easier said than done, and it's easier from the outside looking in. You got to think, to be honest, Steve Kerr, and to give him his credit, he's won at the highest level of basketball. Let's be honest. So for me, speaking from a fan's point of view, I sound like a fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't sound like a professional coach. I sound like a fan when I say things that, some of it may be a little basketball logic, but some of it may be more so emotions and in the heat of the moment. And got to be careful with that. So anyway, what's happening right now with Trayce Jackson Jr. or Trayce Jackson Davis, however, whatever you want to call him, this kid has been playing, man. And but it was by way of not by, I'm not gonna say that this happened, because when you're a good person, which what I think about Steve Kerr, that he's probably a good person. If you're a good person, eventually good things will happen for you, and that's just how it works in life. If you're a good person, good things will happen for you. So this right here kind of like fell in his lap, kind of like, because Draymond got suspended. Gary Payton II was hurt. Injuries were taking place. So this kind of like happened by default. It was like he had nowhere else to go. And this guy's playing great, man. Him and Podziemski, Podziemski was playing good from the start. Like I was like, when Clay was struggling prior to this 5-game winning streak, when Clay was struggling, I was like, man, we got to go with the youngin', him or Moody. We got to go either way. We got to go with him or Moody. Because you got to give Curry a chance. Clay was the shot selection that Klay Thompson was. That was the thing. Listening to I don't know these guys listen to these podcasts or what, but I was hearing like Gil and them say he never developed this game. But when it comes to basketball, sometimes you got to do what you do best and don't listen to the outside. Don't try to be a create off the dribble type of guy. That's not your strength. That's cool. Clay is sort of like, to be honest, he's the ultimate role player. And that can be taken however it wants to be taken by anybody. But I'm just saying, but Clay gonna catch and he gonna shoot, man. That's what he gonna do. He gonna catch and he gonna shoot. He can't really create his own shot off the dribble, but he can run off some screens and he can catch, a la Reggie Miller, a la Rip Hamilton, those type of guys. But those guys, you always can be minimized. But it's when it comes to other players at that two-guard position, like DeMar DeRozan or even Chris Middleton, there's guys that can, looking back a little further, go Joe Johnson, guys that can actually create a shot at that two-guard position, create their own shot. That's not Klay Thompson. All right, let me stay on subject. But anyway, by default, Trayce Jackson has been inserted into the lineup, getting, heavy rotational minutes. And that's been so important for this Warriors team. Moody, Kuminga, all of these youngins are stepping up. And like I say, they had one victory that was worth, like that win against the Celtics. But, hey, man, what it is, Curry owned the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? He like part owner by now. You know what I mean? They should know what it is, right? Yeah, they should know what it is. But, all right, back to humility. Yo, with this team right now, what you're seeing, though, like I said, by default, this wasn't something that Kerr kind of like popped, like it popped in his head. Oh, let me put the youngins in. It kind of happened by default. So like I say, good things happen for good people eventually. And that's just the way this looks. It looks like all of a sudden he's found something that actually works. Inserting these youngins, and I mean youngin is a lob threat, and Chris Paul is perfect for the situation. To kind of like, bring youngin along, to bring Trace along. Chris Paul is perfect. And so you got Kuminga and you got Trace. You got two lob threats, and you got Podziemski doing what he do off the dribble. Shorty can shoot it and everything. So the Warriors right now, and like I said, this 5-game winning streak is something to smile about, not to get overexcited about, but it kind of builds, reestablishes and builds some confidence, because losing kind of like it brings the confidence down, the morale of the team. And certain guys, younger guys, they can get accustomed to that. But guys like Clay and Steph, who've been there for a while, CP3, he's been a winner all his career, it frustrates them. It frustrates those guys. So anyway, I think that the Warriors are in a good position right now with Trace. With the emergence of Trace. Did 4 years of school, 4 years of school, and he's a good player. But I seen some comments recently about somebody saying something about Wiseman and Trace is, listen, every situation is not the same. Every situation is not the same. Truly, Steve Kerr didn't really give Wiseman the proper chance. He gave him a chance in the first season, and he was pretty good. Before he got hurt, before he tore his ACL or MCL, whichever one it was, he was pretty good, man. I mean, that first year when it was just him and Steph and Clay was out and Dre was playing a few games, but Shorty was playing good, man. Like, he was playing good. Like it just was what it was. But like I say, this goes back to what Mark Jackson says, and I'm going to do a video on Mark Jackson. Like, you only as good as your coach believe you are. So it's about confidence, installing confidence. That's an aspect of coaching that is severely underrated. Inspiring players, installing confidence, putting the battery in the back, whatever you want to call it, gassing them. You got to be able to gas. You got to be able to gas a player. He might not be what he is, but you got to tell him that. And like I said, I'm going to do a whole video on Mark Jackson about that, though, because I heard him, like, talking about that. But I've been knowing this for years, though. I mean, I've heard things about that Mark Jackson said about that was one of the things that he said, like on live TV. I think him and Jeff Van Gundy was on air, and he said, yo, like you're only as good as your coach believes you are. And that is like that. If you ever hooped, then you know. If you ever hooped on any level, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I say AAU, you know what I mean? High school, you know what I mean? College, junior college, wherever you hooped at, semi-pro, pro. If you hooped, you understand that aspect that you are only as good as your coach believes you are. So anyway, that believing aspect, or kind of just that having that confidence, and then that player knowing that he has the backing of the coach, so he has that room for error. That is so important. And I just feel like one of those ones, one of the things that Wiseman really never really had, and he just was always on pins and needles. But if this wouldn't have happened to Draymond, in all seriousness, and Gary Payton II, we still would be playing small ball, probably taking L's to teams that we shouldn't be losing to. The games would be close. But like I say, good things happen to good people, and Steve Kerr, he seems to be a good guy. I don't know him personally, but, I think that he's a fair guy. And so good things fall in your lap eventually. So anyway, Trace is the new face, and we happy to have him and me as a Warriors fan, as a Steph Curry fan. This is a good find. And this is the Podcast, man. Make sure if you got to the video this far and you like to talk, you know what I'm saying, get in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Make sure you make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel. Y'all know what's up. The Podcast.